Welcome to Ride Realized. I'm not going to make this video about specs. I'm going to make it as just a general overview so you have the information you need, and then I'll post a link to the specs so you can look it up about what this thing can handle, how it's internally fused, and just generally how it works and what happens in the event of a short. I don't need to go through that. I think reading that is easier. The same with the LED lights. I'm going to just post a picture of that and you can check it out what they mean. They're not really relevant until you own the unit. It's pretty incredible, pretty in-depth, and it's so simple to install. So the Thunderbox comes in two variants. There's the TBU02 and TBU01. The only difference is these positive and negative connectors you get. So the 01 would just have one, the 02 has two. I've taped this up so the wiring is cleaner with Tessa tape. This here would be the white wire. The white wire connects to your 12-volt switch power if you want to run it that way. But the setup I have here is the automatic setup, which is just positive, negative to your battery. When the bike starts and turns on and it's in a charging state, the box senses that and then connects all of your electrical. So you have a slight delay, then everything powers on. Same with when you turn the bike off, it senses it's not in a charging state and will power everything down for you. Like I said before, everything is fused in the box, so there's no fuses that you have to take. It has reattempts after 200 milliseconds. If you're, say, running halogen bulbs and it has a short there, it will try 3 times and then stop the system, and you have to do a reset process. In terms of actually hooking it up, you can use ferrules like they use stock, if you have ferrules and a crimper. The power and ground blocks are all common, or you can simply snip a bit off the wire and plug it in. I'll probably do it with ferrules, but for this demo I've just stuck the wire in. And that's it. When I start the bike, the unit will power on after a couple seconds and charge the light. Or sorry, put power to the light. And here's what comes in the bag when you buy the unit. So you get the Thunderbox itself. You get the power blocks depending on which model you went with. Again, the UO2 has 2, UO1 has 1, vampire connector, and then a bullet-ended spare wire. You can either use it with vampire, solder it in, do whatever. And this is what plugs into the white wire that you'll use for your switch 12 volt if you wire it that way. So Healtech sell a number of different electrical components. This is definitely my favorite. They also sell a waterproof USB charger that you can plug into the system. I'm going to be grabbing one of those as well with how impressed I am with this box. Any specs I will touch on because I think they're important for a lot of people up front is the system is run for 16 amp. It is IP68 waterproof. And on the blocks, there's 4 banks per section, or per power block. The Thunderbox has a status LED, which is right here. You can see on startup, it does give a designation for the light, for what's happening with the status. And then after shutdown, again, in a non-charged state, we see it read that and then shut the light off automatically, disconnecting the power. It'll have this bright green blinking light just for a little, and then it goes into its own power save mode. And then after a little while further, it will dim that light right down. If you happen to ride a Cove 800, I do have an install video of how I'm going to wire this up, where I'm going to run the power blocks so they're accessible, and some intricacies between the Rally and the Pro. You have to do a different installation of this on the Pro versus the Rally. Uh, Healtech provides instructions for the Rally that includes a plug that doesn't exist on the Pro. So I own the Pro, and I'll be running it in automatic mode, so it negates the issue. But if you want to run 12 volt, we'll get into that. Thanks.